was quite painful to hear, Rufai.
Even me.
Yes.
Ashamed for Nigeria, ashamed for Duggar. Foreign minister of my country, go out there, get facts, get data.
The 200 people that were killed just the other day from your water. 200, and the 500 that Dachamo showed us, that's 700 already.
What about the Christmas Eve killings?
Yes.
Amnesty reported that over 1,000 people were killed in the Christmas Eve killings. Okay, let's even say conservative number, let's say about 300, as reported by some people in that Christmas killings. You say 177, but it shows. And next thing, you are trying to put down the woman and saying all sorts. The woman was right. When we're talking about Muslim tickets, didn't people make noise? Didn't the likes of Buala say that was why he left the APC there? Has he not gone back the AP to the APC?
Okay. I mean, there are reports. We've seen reports everywhere.
I challenge him to bring out that where he got that data from. He didn't cite the source. It's not true.
Well, all right.
That data is not true. It's porkies.
Because it's a situation where you now rent a police. Nigerians have always complained about this, that you can hire a police to serve the police to serve any purpose. The PDP will say it's factionalized. Is it that the Nigerian police is also factionalized in terms of maintaining law and order? So this must be investigated, and whoever is behind, that ugly conduct of the Nigerian police must be sanctioned. Finally, in Acts of the Apostles, chapter 16, verse 9, the Apostle Paul had a vision of a call from Macedonia, where a man appeared to Apostle Paul, and he told him, come to Macedonia and help us. What KTSAN did at the Secretariat of the PDP yesterday was a Macedonian call, calling on people, on Donald Trump to come and save democracy in Nigeria. Right. And I think that this is not the divine calling of Apostle Paul. This is, a call that we do not support. Nigeria is a sovereign country, and we should not reinforce the thinking, the belief, the assumption that Donald Trump is the international policeman of the world. That will be strengthening his delusional behavior in international politics.
Right. Let's begin what's trending, focusing on reactions. Trailing the dramatic at the People's Democratic Party headquarters in Abuja on Tuesday. Police fired tear gas to disperse rival factions battling for control of the opposition party after both the Nyesom Wike-backed group and the newly elected National Working Committee, led by Kabiru Turkai, scheduled parallel meetings for the same day. The flashpoint came when the camp of FCT Minister Nyesom Wike arrived at the PDP headquarters, triggering violent clashes that sent politicians and journalists scampering for safety as supporters clashed outside Wadata Plaza. Safety as supporters clashed outside Wadata Plaza. Let's take a look.
Oh my God! Oh my God! Oh my God!
Oh my God. This was so disgraceful, Ayo. Well, the PDP alleged that security operatives shot some of their members. I mean, this is quite a shocking revelation. Meanwhile, in a stunning appeal, the national chairman of the People's Democratic Party, Kabiru Turkai, Turaki, publicly called the U.S. President Donald Trump to intervene and save democracy in Nigeria. Speaking to journalists after gaining access to the PDP secretariat, Turaki stated that what is at stake is not just genocide against Christians in Nigeria, but that democracy is under threat. Let's take a look.
I want to call on President Trump. What is at stake is not just genocide against Nigerian Christians. He should come and save democracy in Nigeria. Democracy is under threat. I'm calling on all other developed nations, all advanced democracies, come and save Nigeria, come and save democracy. Because I cannot understand how a serving minister of the Federal Republic of Nigeria will be leading talks, armed talks, and then with the active connivance or support of the police to come and create mayhem here. I have said it, we are willing to lay down our lives to protect our office, to protect our democracy, to protect our mandate. So Nigerians, you are watching what is happening. International community, you are seeing the threat that Nigerian democracy is. Come and save us. Come and save us.
Turaki's appeal has sparked fresh controversy about whether opposition leaders crossing sovereignty lines undermines or strengthens Nigeria's democracy. Let me take some reactions. Rosie wrote on X. And you wonder why Trump called Nigeria a disgrace. What is this person trying to say? Before forget sentimental, just look at this nonsense. This country has totally lost its trajectory. Everything is on autopilot. What you are seeing are the early warnings and signs of a failing state. God help us all. Another ex-user wrote, if Nigerian leaders, especially politicians from the APC, PDP, LP, ADC, and every other party invested even half of the passion, energy, and resources they pour into protecting their political positions, into protecting the Nigerian people, this country would be miles ahead. But the tragedy is clear. Our leaders fight harder for power than they fight for citizens. They mobilize overnight when their interests are threatened, yet move painfully slow when the masses are crying for security, jobs, healthcare, and dignity. Nigeria is not lacking potential. Wallahi, it is suffering from leadership that prioritizes party survival over people's survival until our politicians begin to place the lives of citizens above the logos of their parties. True progress will remain a slogan instead of a reality. Ayo, we have seen these stories, but for me, it just smacks of insult at this point for this sort of thing to be happening at this critical time in our polity. Your thoughts?
Earlier on, I'd said it was a show of shame.
Yes.
A number of people say it's a showdown, it's Wahala and Wadata, a number of things. But I also believe that this is a massive distraction from the real issues belaboring the nation at this time. This is, we pointed out that the PDP chairman, Turaki, is from Kebbi State. This is Kebbi State where 25 young girls have just been killed. Yes, they're not the government in power. The APC is the government in power, and they're the ones that have the responsibility as entrusted in them by the Nigerian people to ensure the security of lives and property. But as an opposition, this is where we need to hear their voices loud and clear, either providing solution, checking the government on the day, empathizing with the people, doing their own part in building the nation. But what do we see? What matters to them or what is priority to them, which is political power, dominance, who is who. And in doing that, there was just a massive show of shame, a waste of resources, of taxpayers' money. People who pay, the people pay the police their salary. I hope we know this. But instead, rather than them do the work that they've been commissioned to do, we see them protecting one heavyweight or the other and, ensuring that one party or the other does not have the higher hand. It is an insult to the uniform that they wear, quite frankly, whereby we're using them as political ammunition in a political fight such as this. Have the men act as adults. And I'm sorry I say men, it's International Men's Day, but that's why we need to emphasize on raising, even right from the family units, raising men that can become great leaders in the future, raising people, men and women, that can become great leaders. But that aside, but just to mention that the PDP ought to get its business together. And then I will end on this note. This is also happening under the administration and government of a man who is said to be a true Democrat. Democracy thrives when we have vibrant opposition, not to just keep attacking the government of the day, but to provide ideas, rich ideas, conversations, to be supported by an ideology, and for opposition to thrive. We must have a government that is not seen to want to stifle the voice of dissent or to kill the voice of the opposition. And so that's why I want to call on President Tinubu as a true Democrat. Wike is a minister under his administration, so he has the powers to at least bring him under control, if I can use that word. But also even the police and the state, members of the state, to ensure that they also are doing impartial and acting within the capacity of what they were hired to do. So I believe that under this administration, under a Democrat, democracy is actually failing before our very eyes, and that's quite a shame.
Complete disgrace. Well, meanwhile, amid the PDP crisis, Bauchi State Governor Bala Mohammed brought a cultural touch to the party headquarters. Traditional dances performed at Wadata Plaza, offering a brief respite, I guess, from the political tensions gripping the opposition party. Let's take a look. Dr. Mati, over to you. 5 sets of people.
Again, I refer to Donald Trump,
yes,
who says Nigerians always think serious matters are opportunities for skit making and for comedy. Now, this is not the time for the People's Democratic Party to go a-dancing. This is a moment for the People's Democratic Party to go a-sorrowing. In other words, this is not the occasion for dance or comedy, because what is happening is that the party that was once described as the largest political party in the whole of Africa, with some of its members boasting that they will be in power for 50 years, has imploded. And it's in a serious crisis. How to resolve that crisis is what is important. Because as the major opposition party in Nigeria, it has a role to play, not just in terms of looking for power, but also in terms of the prospects of national stability. What they have done in the PDP simply is to achieve the objectives of the APC, to hand over, as I said yesterday, a second term on a platter of gold to President Bola Ahmed Tinubu. And let nobody come after the 2027 election and say, oh, they rigged the election. The election has already been won and lost. Even the Labour Party headquarters is no longer functioning because there's crisis between Nadi Usman and Julius Abure. The PDP is also not functioning. Now, is this good for democracy? Many people will not think so. Number two is that the role of the police at the PDP secretariat yesterday has to be investigated, both by the Inspector General of Police himself and also by higher authorities. Because it's a situation where you now rent a police. Nigerians have always complained about this, that you can hire a police to serve the police to serve any purpose. The PDP will say it's factionalized. Is it that the Nigerian police is also factionalized in terms of maintaining law and order? So this must be investigated, and whoever is behind, that ugly conduct of the Nigerian police must be sanctioned. Finally, in Acts of the Apostles, chapter 16, verse 9, the Apostle Paul had a vision of a call from Macedonia, where a man appeared to Apostle Paul, and he told him, come to Macedonia and help us. What KTSAN did at the Secretariat of the PDP yesterday was a Macedonian call, calling on on Donald Trump to come and save democracy in Nigeria. Right. And I think that this is not the divine calling of Apostle Paul. This is, a call that we do not support. Nigeria is a sovereign country, and we should not reinforce the thinking, the belief, the assumption that Donald Trump is the international policeman of the world. That will be strengthening his delusional behavior in international politics. Right. If democracy is to be saved in Nigeria, it is only Nigerians themselves that can save their democracy by having a proper, credible electoral system and by the politicians behaving like gentlemen who are committed to the progress of Nigeria and not to their personal ambition.
You want no, it's enough fun for this morning. Well, talking about democracy being saved, Piers Morgan has released a much-anticipated segment of Uncensored featuring Nigeria's Foreign Affairs Minister, Yusuf Duggar, the explosive interview, which also featured former Canadian MP Goldie Gamari and Reverend Ezekiel Dachimo, saw Minister Duggar mount an aggressive defense, challenging international reports on the scale of Christian killings and church burnings in Nigeria. The minister dismissed widely circulated figures as completely and totally inaccurate and false, insisting that media fact-checkers have examined the numbers and found them grossly inflated. Let's take a look.
Over the last 2 years, there have been 52 churches, depending on which region, again, you are referring to, because there are different regions in Nigeria. Since the last 5 years, the attacks, not destroyed, attacks on churches, 102.
How many Christians have been murdered in Nigeria since 2009?
Since over the last 5 years, I can categorically tell you that 177 have been killed. And it does not mean that the killing...
But you said to me... You said to me earlier you did... Yeah, but hang on. Foreign Minister, with respect.
Here's what's happening in Nigeria is jihad. It's the exact same thing that happened on October 7 by Islamists when they broke into Israel and murdered Jews yelling Allahu Akbar. It's the exact same thing that ISIS terrorists did to the Yazidis in Iraq. It's the exact same thing that happened in Lebanon. Here's the only difference between what's happening today in Nigeria versus what happened 1,400 years ago when the Muslim Arab invaders came to Persia is that back then people did not have cameras, but today they do. It is 100% jihad. We've seen it before. This is how the Islamist playbook always happens. Right now, you have a Muslim president, and then they decided to choose a Muslim vice president, and so there is actually no Christian representation in the Islamist government. I was a politician for 7 years, Piers, and I can tell when someone is lying and avoiding the truth. That's exactly what this foreign minister is doing, and shame on him for lying.
Let me tell you, there's a genocide in Nigeria.
I'm so excited to welcome you to the...
All right, this is an interview, Rufai. But I was quite shocked when I heard the figure. 177 Christians have been killed in 5 years. That's what, according to the Foreign Affairs Minister. Quite shocking.
I dare him.
Quite shocking. There are reports. We've seen reports everywhere.
I challenge him to bring out that where he got that data from. He didn't cite the source. It's not true.
Well, all right.
That data is not true. It's porkies.
That the foreign minister reeled out on that show was quite painful to hear.
There's a genocide in Nigeria.
A politician for 7 years, Piers, and I can tell when someone is lying and avoiding the truth. That's exactly what this foreign minister is doing, and shame on him for lying.
Let me tell you, there's a genocide in Nigeria.
All right, this is an explosive interview, Rufai. But I was quite shocked when I heard the figure. 177 Christians have been killed in 5 years. That's what, according to the Foreign Affairs Minister. quite shocking.
I dare him.
Quite shocking.
And
I mean, there are reports. We've seen reports everywhere.
I challenge him to bring out that where he got that data from. He didn't cite the source. It's not true.
Well, all right.
That data is not true. It's porkies.
Those statistics that the foreign minister reeled out on that show was quite painful to hear, Rufai.
Even me.
Yes.
Shame for Nigeria. Shame for Duggar. Foreign minister of my country. Go out there. You don't get facts. You don't get data.
The 200 people that were killed just the other day from Yawata. 200. And the 500 that Gachamo showed us, that's 700 already.
What about the Christmas Eve killings?
Yes.
You know, Amnesty reported that over 1,000 people were killed in the Christmas Eve killings. Okay, let's even say conservative number, let's say about 300, as reported by some people in that Christmas killings. You say 177, but it shows. And next thing, you are trying to put down the woman and saying all sorts. The woman was right. When we're talking about Muslim tickets, didn't people make noise? Didn't the likes of Buala say that was why he left the APC there? Has he not gone back the AP to the APC now? It's not going to show a level of balancing. And Duggar kept on talking about Sudan. The reason for the problem of Sudan, apart from the artisan problem in the south, and when the north and the south was fighting because of minerals and other things that John Garang helped liberate, is that there are two independent warlords. In South Sudan, you have Riek Machar and Salva Kiir fighting. In the northern part of Sudan, after the exit of Umar al-Bashir from the same, you have Ahmedti and Al-Burnham, two top military generals fighting each other for the power of the country. So it's got nothing, to do, and you're trying to relate it to don't turn Nigeria into Sudan. You see, all of this narrative, please, I'm just saying get your facts right. That's all I'm saying.
Right.
Get your facts right. And for, real quickly, the police officers that they used for all of the back and forths. Let me just remind them in the words of another police officers when Wike and Yerima had an occasion. You know, one police officer called the military man in the corner and said, please, don't die in their war. These men are big men.
That's
they are just going to advise the police. Don't die in their war. They are big men. They will settle themselves. But it's very sad. Look at the killings that have been happening in this country. I challenge the minister's rhetoric and his numbers.
Yes.
This is very... So you go to Duggar, call National Bureau of Statistics and get data.
This is... I mean, he appeared to have been reading from a...
At least they should bring it out.
Piece of paper.
Is that not why we are funding them?
Data problem.
But we are the media. They can send it to us. We would like to see those figures because what we have is nothing compared to what the minister reeled out. I mean, this is tragedy that is really happening in Nigeria.
Before he was able to acknowledge and say the data. At first, he was saying, no, we don't know. You can't really distinguish between Christian or Muslim. They don't check the religion of the dead. What do you mean? What kind of talk is that? We're not saying Muslims are not being killed. Yes, some genocidal proportion. But you can't deny the fact that there's a Christian genocide. Let's call it spade. Can't met yesterday and talk about it again.
All right, Christians are being killed. Christians are being killed. Christians are being massacred. This is the conversation.